Hi guys, today you are with us at Jimmy's Lake in Essex and we're going to show you a new unique way of catching catfish. It's essentially a float with a noise making device on the bottom of it which sounds a little bit like a clonk. The original idea was founded at Whiteacres down in Cornwall, and we were fishing with pellet under a pike float, not having much luck. And then after miscasting a few times, I had to make 5 or 6 casts to get it right. The float slid away almost instantly. I thought nothing of it, and then we didn't get any more bites, so I thought, I wonder if I make a bit more noise with these pellets I'll get another bite. And we did, so we'd cast 5 or 6 times, splashing on the surface, and almost instantly after starting fishing the float would go under and we'd catch fish. And we had 25 cats between the two of us that day, and that made me start to think about how I could turn that into a style of fishing. So what we've got here is a float with a dome on the bottom which makes a clonk as it hits the water. Now there's a few different ways of fishing it. One is to use it like a traditional clonk, where you can cast it at a live bait or leeches or worms, subsurface, and it can bring the catfish towards your bait and then you get you the bite. And the other way you can fish it is like a pellet waggler. So you will be casting the float, it hits the water, the catfish are then attracted to the noise of the float, and then once the float hits the water you start to fire pellet around it. They start to associate the noise of that float with the pellet coming into the water, and you can catch them as the pellet falls through the water on the drop. So what we're going to be doing now is casting the float quite high, so as it hits the water the dome is the first thing to hit the water nice and square. That will give you a loud plop. After that we're going to leave it fishing for about 20-30 seconds, just so that's the only bait in the water, and then we'll fire 3 single pellets in quite quick succession, give the float a twitch. If we've had no bites we recast, so you're going to be recasting about every minute to a minute and a half. It's hard work, I know, but you do get results. The best thing you can do is to get yourself into a rhythm, so cast, pellet, pellet, twitch, reel in, cast, pellet, pellet, twitch, reel in, and that makes the whole sequence much easier, much faster, more fluid, and then you'll find yourself not even thinking about it, and it's almost like autopilot. what we're using today is essentially big cat gear. It's not a little float, it's not a little weight. I've made it for you to be able to cast it. It weighs 3.5 ounces. So what we've got here is the damn Mad Cat pellet rod with 4.5 pound test curve. Quite a thick blank, which I like, so you don't hurt your fingers when you're playing those big cats. We have got a Pen Fierce 3 8000 reel loaded with 80 pound braid. That runs through to straight through the middle of the float. We've got a stop bead. That's a Cat Pro stop bead there, holding it in place. Another bead underneath, and that is a 100 pound snapback swivel. And the business end, this is the new Cat Pro Hooligan braid. What I've done on the top here is a figure of 8 loop knot, and I've pushed the tag end the opposite way and put some shrink tube over it. That acts as like a little boom, and with the tag end facing the other way, it adds a little bit more to the knot strength. Normal knotless knot hair with a little bit of yellow shrink tube. I use that just to give it a little bit of a visual effect. And then we've got a 2.0 BP hook. And then I don't use hair stops or anything like that. I have the hair long enough for you to be able to pull it through the pellet and then back round on itself to create a loop. You get much better hold on the pellet with all the repeat casting like that. So what we're doing is we're casting it quite high in the air, and then as the float comes down, it makes the clonk, and essentially you're fishing on the drop. So as this pellet's falling through the water, the catfish comes to this noise and grabs the pellet on the drop. So you're only really effectively fishing for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you have to recast. Let's get this back out and give it another go. Here we are, another one on the Clonk float, getting a few bites, catching a few fish, all good fun. Well, here we are. Lovely fish to finish off the day here at Jimmy's Lake in Essex. We've had more fish than we've been able to count between us. Fun all day long catching fish about this size, a couple bigger, a couple smaller, but what a brilliant day we've had. I recommend you get out and give it a try. See you later.